So it is good day to you. Do not break your silence. You can still sit. For you see, silence is golden. You understand that each of these students that you taught today, you can come there, you can sit wherever you choose, dearest. Each of these wondrous students were touched by you as much as you were touched by them. You noticed that they wanted to touch you. And several of them were moved to hug you in a non-hugging country. So you see how life changes. Evolution. This country does not hug nor touch. They why, and it is a sign of respect. And with that respect comes honoring of much. That is why they take the shoe off. Now in the beginning it may be because they trekked in dirt into the home. But it is also a sign of respect. You will notice outside of your room, even when your housekeeper comes to clean your room, they take their shoes off as a sign of respect for you. So how are you showing respect to others? What is it about you when you work in your everyday life, in your walkabout world, that you show that respect to others? We've talked some about your essence as well. How has your essence played into this day? How has your experience played into this day? For each of these children will go home and tell all of their families about you and how you are, who you are, what they did today. We hope they do anyway. Some of them may not be allowed to speak when they go home. That is a part of their tradition sometimes. That children are seen but not heard. And sometimes they will come from loving, caring, dear families that may not have much. And the school provides them with sometimes breakfast and lunch on the teacher's salary. So you see, that touch, open-heartedness goes both directions, yes? That open-heartedness, you opened their hearts and they opened your heart. It is power-filled. And there is something to be said for you when you return home. Sort of the difference between carrying and carrying. We wish to tell you a story of a real estate farmer, landowner, and his son. This very wise man, very wealthy, very rich, owned many properties and many gardens, many lands in many parts of land in many lands. His son, as many times children are, they refused to accept his father's money, even though his father was willing to give him everything. He refused to accept it, got very angry with his father, and left. We know it sounds a bit like the story of the Prodigal Son by the Yeshua, Master Yeshua. It is not. For yes, you see, he was starving, the son was starving, penniless, for a few years, living with the swine for a few years, not being able to make a living because he had no education. And his father, in one of the lands that his father owned, found him. But instead of identifying himself as his father, instead he sent his servants to go to the son and bring him home. Well, the son was very much afraid, thought that he had done something wrong for this rich landowner, and was afraid that he would be put into prison. So he fought terribly. And the servants went back to the landowner, the father, and said, "What will we do? He will not come." And the father sent them back again and said, "Even if he fights, even if he argues, be as gentle as possible with him and bring him back. Do not tell him who he is or who I am." So they brought him back. The father told his servants to treat him with the utmost of respect, even though the son was very frightened. They bathed him. They oiled his body. They gave him clothes to wear. The son, still not knowing who the big rich landowner was, he was grateful. And the servants gave him a job, a menial job of cleaning the stables. And the father watched the son from his window and saw that he worked hard and he learned with honest integrity. And then he gave him more responsibility. And the father watched. And he learned more of how the son had a very good mind for business. And so he gave him more responsibility, promoted him up, and gave him a portion of the land to develop how he saw fit. And he watched the son change the crops as he should, because he learned what it meant to rotate crops, what it meant to raise this kind of land here, this kind of seed here, and that kind of seed there. And still he watched. He saw how he treated his slaves, his servants, and he treated them with a great deal of respect. The son did, for he was one of those starving servants, couldn't even work as a servant. So the son, as the father, treated the servants with respect. And when the son had grown up, maybe 3 years, learning the business of land, learning the business of real estate, learning the business of crops, then the father brought the son and the servants together and revealed that he was his father and it was his land. And the son could make a choice. Some children would be very irritated that the father would treat them so. But this child, this young man, was grateful. was happy that he had learned a profession, even though he didn't want to when he was younger. And you see, that is what you do with people, is you teach them. You let them make their mistakes. Let them learn. Yes, you always have the right answer. Yes? And yet, when they learn it on their own, it is much more powerful. Huh? When they learn what they are choosing on their own, it is an experience that none could possibly compare it to. That is what you do, is you teach them how to care for things. Teach them the business, teach them to be a business owner. You have to learn that somewhere. And that is the difference between caring for someone and carrying someone. When you are carrying someone, you are simply enabling them to stay where they are. They are not evolving. But when you care enough, sometimes to say no, sometimes to not reveal the possibilities that you can experience, that is true caring. So in your life, who are you caring for and who are you carrying? There is the key to enable, as much as you love your children, if you indeed have children, sometimes it is not necessary to do for them. Sometimes it is necessary to say no and realize that they can figure it out. That may be from your spouse or your loved ones. It may be for your family. If you have, or friends. If you have someone in your family, someone in your friendship, someone in your circle that comes to you, always wanting, always needing help, always needing something, always wanting something, and expecting exceptions to always be made for their benefit. Sometimes it is to say no. Sometimes they will figure it out. You understand what we say? You understand what I say? The key is to love someone enough to allow them to stumble. As your friend said, by fixing everything, you are denying them of their experience. Yes? For you see, that information of denial of someone else's experience, you are not the one that is in control. Sometimes you only wish you were. It comes with respect and love. You understand? You have question about anything. It has been a long day, huh? I wish to tell you one more little story. Is that all right?
Yes.
Good. There was One of my trusted disciples, Anandhi, and he was walking through his area, his village, and he stopped and asked a woman for water. This was a slave, servant woman. And she bowed before him and said, I am not worthy to give you water. I cannot give you water. I am of a much lower caste than you are. And he told her, I did not ask you what your station in life was. I asked you for water. And he showed her kindness and poured the water from her bucket, and then he refilled her bucket as she was carrying it on her shoulders. And then he helped her carry it to her next place of where she was going. She always remembered that. A few months later, she came before me. And she said, your disciple, Anandhi, was so kind to me. How can I be kind back to him? I said, it is not necessary to be kind back to him. He will always be kind to everyone. What is even greater is for you to be kind to your masters, your slave owners, no matter what they do, to be kind to them. And that will change their lives. And she did. And their slave owners stopped punishing her. They stopped punishing the slaves. And they treated them as service people with a bit more respect. And then she came back before me and said, what else can I do? I have seen what kind of changes can be made with kindness, simple kindness. What else can I do? And I told her, now be kind to those who are in the same caste as you. And she did. She was kind and generous, and sometimes would take extra shifts if someone was not feeling well, and would help those around her. And she saw the changes in their lives too. And then she came back to me and said, what else can I do? And I said to her, the teaching of the Master now you must be kind to yourself. For you see, it's all three levels. And you get the opportunity to pay attention to those levels. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to those around you who are maybe in the same boxcar. And be kind to those who maybe not be so easy to be kind to. For you see, that love can change all things. That kindness can change all things. That wisdom can change all things. And when you are in the same boxcar as each of you are here in this boxcar, are you kind to each other? Are you experiencing each other with an open heart? Are you talking behind the other's back? Adironnda calls that triangulation, which leads to nothing good. Sometimes you're placed in the boxcar so you can learn to be together. Learn to trust in new ways. Not to enable, not to go underneath, but to learn to love unconditionally in that kindness. Learn to experience your life, maybe in some compromise. Learn to understand that by the complaint, that is the manifestation. By the complaint, you are manifesting that which you are complaining about. The servant woman believed that she should be treated poorly because of who she was. And when one person treated her well, she saw the possibilities. Do you understand what I say? Hoo-ha! So in those stories, dearest, in that energy comes strength, power, presence. You have learned much in the last few days. The last few days here are about going inside. Tomorrow you will see a temple that was created by one man's vision. You have seen a park that was created by one little woman's vision. You have seen results of the power of one. All of those children will work hard to be chosen to go into the power of one, which will change their lives. What is it that they said? 70% of the people from the power of one that are Thai go to university. They even, Joel and Donovan, even hire tutors to help them in their weak areas so they can go to university. What is your power of one? What is it that you are so passionate about that you must do it? Do you know hello? Are you all asleep, huh? Only when we talk loud.
I'm working on it. Working on it.
Yes, yes, you are working on it. And we congratulate you for that. For with that essence, with that knowledge, it is so power-filled to know what you are doing and what you are not doing, to know and have an understanding of the energy. And with that understanding of that energy, You get the opportunity to move forward. You get the opportunity to experience the bliss-filled life that you are here to live. To see the joy that you are here to experience. To allow the things that you are working with to expand. And as you are going into corporations, changing from the top down, maybe instead of from the bottom up, it takes the world going in both directions. What is it that you are passionate about? Healing. Teaching. Teaching. Yes. Do you know how much you teach?
Some.
You teach everywhere you go. About this supplement and that supplement, and here, try this, here, try that. You are teaching.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way.
You are. Now you can think of it that way, huh?
Okay.
Yes. And as you're teaching, you're also educating people to take care of their bodies. Take care of their presence, huh? You have a question for us, huh? About anything.
So you think that's my passion? Because I sometimes don't know what my passion is, or I don't think I know what my passion is.
What is it that you love more than anything else? When you're experiencing it, what is it that you love? When you say to yourself, I could do this forever. It wouldn't matter if I was getting paid or not. What are you doing?
Think of yourself today. Have you seen anyone so passionate teaching kids?
Really?
Yes. The vessel Marilyn heard more about you than anyone.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You made a difference.
Wow. Thanks.
Eh? Take that in. Yes. You're a powerful teacher. Patient, loving, direct. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. What about the rest of you? What is your passion? Are you telling secrets?
What your question? Me, I have no questions today. I have no questions. No, you asked, you said, I thought Marilyn was with us. And I said, Marilyn was with us. Adironnda wasn't necessarily with us.
You were with Elaine.
You were with Elaine.
Elaine. Yeah.
We are with each of you always.
Yeah. Everybody.
We are multidimensional. We can go everywhere. We love the showers, eh?
They're warm now.
Ah, they are. We're coming to the second floor then. They were not before.
Well, this evening they are.
Question. Does that answer your question? We are always with the vessel Marilyn. She is not always with us. She cannot flit about and look at each circle like we can, although more people mentioned you today to the vessel Marilyn than anyone else. About what a great teacher you were.
Thank you all.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
You need, it's not kindness, it is fact. It may be kind, but it is still fact.
Okay.
Yes. So, what else did you learn about yourself today?
learned I could do the Macarena to completely different words.
And that is very important. You know, and with that energy, we also learned, each of you learned how different the society is, in the US or in your country, to here where they wanted the king and the queen.
And the king was a girl.
And the king was a girl and the queen was a boy.
Queen was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And how, even though you did not want to pick people, when they were chosen, you were a little bit attached to who won.
Yep.
Yes. The way it evolves now in many schools is there are no kings or queens. There is no hierarchy, which as those individuals grow, that will shift the consciousness of this planet. Here, they have a king that is revered and they dare not speak against the king, which with the old king was very easy. They loved their king. Now their king is not so easy to live with, but they do not say anything against him. Not that they will be punished, it is a matter of respect. He is still their king. And that is what they were doing as king and queen. And you see how now the evolution is coming with the new generation, that there is no king and queen, there is no prom king, prom queen. Maybe. Have they abolished that yet?
I think so.
It will be coming.
Popularity.
Or it will be different. You see what we say? You are the ones making the difference. So as that energy comes through, what is your passion? We know you're all a bit too tired now to think of it. Kristen, what is your passion?
People and humanity is my passion.
So what
I
is it
love
about
them.
people and humanity that you wish to be passionate with?
To help them learn to be more confident in their abilities to be the power of one.
To know that they can make the difference.
Yes. Even if they are only able to do small things, that they can make a big difference.
That is a wondrous passion. And in that energy, what is the touchstone, the emotional impact, the emotional feeling that you have?
Joy. Like ecstatic joy, just floating. I don't know, just
Very
freedom,
powerful.
Joy.
With that freedom and with that joy and with that passion, you can change the world. You can acknowledge that they do not have to have a host of individuals. They do not have to really have more than themselves to be the difference. Think of it in the next few days. What is your passion? What is it that you truly love? Now, you can all say what she said. Very well done. But it is still different for each one of you. When we asked our vessel Marilyn what she loved, she said the same thing. people. I love inspiring people. I love talking to people.
I
And
heard she loves performing.
she does. Yes. But she loves most that moment where the light bulb goes on over someone's head. That moment is her favorite. So we ask you, what moment is your favorite moment? That will lead you to your passion. And it may not be what you are making your living at, or maybe it is. But that will lead you there. How are you being the difference, making the difference, experiencing the difference in your world? How are you making that positive impact in your world? How are you sharing the love and being that connective point, even if it is just with your family? That family then multiplies by 200 people with every person. Each person has an impact on 200 people in their life. Somewhere the vessel Marilyn read that statistic and we picked it up. Probably more. It was the vessel Marilyn and the Joy's goal when they began in 2010 to activate 1 million people. And they've gone way beyond that. As will you. So we congratulate your passion. Then you get to decide what that looks like. Or maybe not decide what that looks like. Maybe just allow it to unfold and say yes to every opportunity.
And then celebrate it.
And then celebrate it.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Question. We love you dearly.
Love you.
Love you too. Love you back. We love that. We see you. We see sometimes where it's a little uncomfortable to when all of your creature comforts are not met. The vessel Marilyn thought, a cold shower? Are you kidding me?
We're so spoiled. Cat helps the anyone.
Yes. Yes.
Or we take things for granted.
Yes. The fact that, or a trickle of water that comes out. Understand that sometimes it's about being flexible and showing kindness to all that you encounter. No matter what they are doing for you. Showing kindness and realizing that every single complaint is your manifestation. Every single complaint. So instead, how can you rephrase that? How can you connect in a way that it is not complaint, but that you wish to show what is possible? Did you have your hand up?
I just wanted to say that I was falling asleep and I was very uncomfortable and fidgety and until I said out loud where I find my joy. And now I'm not tired anymore and I'm quite comfortable.
Yes, we see that.
So I'm sharing that with everybody else. as well, so that sometimes we're tired and it's a long day, but keep looking, because once you hit on it, you'll be so energized.
And that's the key, is it energizes your life. Your passion energizes your life. Now, because it is your passion does not mean that you are going to convince someone else that they have to have the same passion. Or that they're going to convince someone else that your passion is a better passion than their passion. Instead, just live your passion. Yes.
So, when you were talking about before, if you feel someone is pushing your buttons or like irritating you or making you feel angry or something, or why can't you do that or something like that, how can you move beyond that to be a better person?
First, that is an excellent question. How do you move beyond it when someone pushes your buttons or triggers you or makes you feel uncomfortable? We're repeating it for this because we don't know if they heard.
Okay.
First, take a deep breath.
Okay.
Second, sometimes physically stepping back. Making a physical change in the space can help. And then realize that they are only reflecting some part of you, and you are putting out the purchase order for that reflection. And then ask, what is the real issue? Because the issue is not the issue. It stimulated something within you that dates back to some other program, some other aspect, some other energy.
How do you figure that out?
Ask. Connect and ask. And then become still.
Still. Oh boy.
Change your bracelet.
Okay.
A bunch of people just changed their
Me? Still? Huh?
Yes. In that stillness. That is why we're going to go to the big temple on the mountain. In the stillness. For in that stillness, that is truly where the answers are. And to know that the first thing that comes to mind is right. And then you second guess and tell yourself all the stories, and then you go here and there and yon, but come back to that first thing. That is the right one. And that is the best way. There is no secret formula for dealing with when someone triggers you, other than asking, what is this really about? Is it important for you to piss on your territory? Huh? Is it important for you to stand your ground when it is about something silly? If it is about something you are truly passionate about, and someone loves you deeply, they will look for ways to understand. And when you talk to them, no one can hurt your feelings unless you allow them to. No one can really push your buttons. That's okay, you can go. That's okay. You don't have to be sorry. Change your bracelet. You see, I'm sorry is the habit.
Yes.
We wish to break you, wish to help you learn new ways to not have that habit. If you have something to apologize for, apologize. But we wish not to acknowledge the fact that you are pathetic. And that is what I am sorry means.
So what can I say instead?
I apologize.
I apologize.
Do you
Sometimes
really
when I apologize? It doesn't sound like appropriate.
Doesn't sound sincere.
I mean, if you bump somebody or something accidentally, I say, instead of saying I'm sorry, I say I apologize. They kind of look at you like,
excuse me.
well, okay.
Or whoopsie.
Excuse me, if you bump someone, but for many people, they bump into a chair and they say, I'm sorry. Yes?
Yeah.
Or they say, I'm sorry, as just a habit of, I'm going to sit in this chair, I'm sorry. Or I'm going to sit on the bed, I'm sorry. Or I'm going to do this, I'm sorry. That is the habit. If you have something that you must state, I want to sit in this chair because I love it. Is that a problem with anyone? Huh? You don't have to apologize for sitting in a chair. Do you see what we say?
Even though, like, I'm choosing maybe the better chair in the room.
It is your room.
No, well, not necessarily here. I mean, sometimes anywhere, like even in a public place or something.
What are you asking?
So I'm trying to verbalize it. Probably feeling guilty that I'm choosing like the best chair in the room or in the place or something like that, when maybe somebody else should sit there instead, or somebody has a handicap, or like you fell today or something, and I feel like maybe you should be sitting here and I should be offering that to you because you would feel better.
I agree.
See?
You see how silly it is. How silly that is. Now, for him, he volunteered to sit on the floor.
You did, correct.
Exactly. For you, there are those who are not quite as comfortable physically as you are.
Right. Okay.
So it is a nice gesture of kindness. Just as a young person may offer a seat to an older person. It is a gesture of kindness to treat others with honor and respect. Does that mean that you're not to look out for yourself?
Good point.
You are to look out for yourself and treat others with honor and respect. You see? And usually both can happen at the same time. Yes.
I have a question.
You always have a question.
See, I'm not the only one.
So we were talking about being light workers and loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves. I'd like to throw out the flip card, and that is as light workers, we go to a situation and we feel fine about ourselves. We would like to lift other people up. Is there a chance that people are very intellectual about understanding that what you said is good, almost better than what they've ever thought of? Okay, if you cannot find the sunshine, be the sunshine. And they're like, ooh, that's profound, that's smart, and I am jealous. Is there a way that we can touch their oversoul so that they don't become jealous? They actually embrace it in a positive consciousness.
You can communicate oversoul to oversoul with someone. You can, many times, going into a meeting or going into something, you can connect, have your angels talk to their angels and preclude the conversation. Yes, that is possible. Now, can you raise someone else up? No. You can only raise yourself up, and by raising yourself up, they will entrain to your energy. Normally, you will entrain to whatever is the highest vibration in the room. That is why we mentioned that about sedation. Sedation lowers your vibration. Why would you do that? especially in a situation like this. But you see, that is not for everyone. It is a matter of individual choice. You understand? Question. We know it has been a very long day. And we know your passion may keep you awake. I ask that you sleep well and deeply, and that you dream of your passion and how your essence fits in to the passion you have for this planet, and where you would like to go with that passion. What is your essence for clarity and being the difference? You make a difference in many lives and you're not even aware of it. Each of you are making the difference in this world in your own way, in your own experience. Think of the stories of the Buddha tonight and how they might show up in your world. They did not get spoken just by accident. You have another question.
I learned something profound for me, and that is that we can help not just those here on the planet now, but those, especially our ancestors who have recently crossed over. Thank you, Nancy, for giving me that opportunity.
Yes. When you are healing yourself, it is called generational healing. Vessel Marilyn tried to get that URL many years ago. It goes back to your ancestors and goes forward to your descendants. You get the opportunity to decide, am I going to break this chain or am I going to continue it? Which is very powerful. We love you deeply.
We love you.
We see you. We know your little hearts are willing, but your brains are a bit tired. Dream of your passion and how you choose to experience that in your world. Namaste.
Namaste.